Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Mr. Zombie here with a new video for you. Welcome to part 5 of What If Izuku Midoriya Was a Girl. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. So, we begin. Several news crews were swarming the gates of UA. They were hounding and harassing every student that came near. The questions were all about All Might. Everyone was so curious about the academics' prowess of the symbol of peace. How could anyone be that heroic, that handsome, and also be able to teach the next generation of heroes? Hey, quit harassing my students. I already told you that All Might isn't on campus today. Now leave. I don't believe you. You're just trying to keep him from us, and I, for one, am not leaving without an interview. Do what you like, but I have a class to teach. Now you wait right there! The woman pursued Eraserhead only for the ultra-heavy metal defenses to block her pursuit. This scared the woman and startled many of the other news reporters. What the heck is this? It's the UA barrier. It's meant to keep out anyone who doesn't have a UA badge. Well, it almost crushed me. Just who do those UA teachers think they are? The news crew swarm remained around the sealed entrance. But from across the street, a young man watched the events unfold. His teal hair was a mess and covered his face. No one could see his dry, dark smile. Dun dun dun! Class A were mingling amongst themselves as they waited for Aizawa to arrive. Midoriya, Uraraka, and Ida were telling each other about their motivations for becoming heroes. So wait, your motivation is money, Uraraka? Yeah, I know it sounds bad. My parents work really hard to provide for us and I just want to help them. As a hero, I can make lots of money and they can take it easy and not have to worry financially. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to provide for yourself and live comfortably. That's something everyone should strive for. Well, what about you, Ida? Why do you want to become a hero? The blue-haired teen became flustered by the question. Well, my older brother Tensa works at a family hero agency. He's a great older brother and a great hero, and I want to be able to fight alongside him. Wait, hang on. Your brother wouldn't have to be Ingenium, would he? Well, he is, although I would have preferred no one finding that out. Why not? I didn't want to be treated differently because of my family being well-known heroes. This might sound selfish, but I wanted to make friends on my own merit. Oh, I get it, but I kinda already got that rich boy from you from how you act. Do I really act like that? Well, I mean, you don't act like a snob or anything. It's just like you're so prim and proper. Hey guys, what are you talking about? Sarah walked himself into the conversation. His presence distracted from the bizarre tension between Ida and Uraraka. Oh, hey, Sarah. We were just talking about what inspires us to become heroes. Oh, that's cool. Well, what's your inspiration, Midori? It's Midoriya. And, well, I don't really want to say mine right now. What? Come on, Midoriya. Ida and I said ours. You have to tell us yours, too. The green-haired teen became rather flustered as her classmates waited for her answer. She started to fiddle with the hem of her skirt and stared at her shoes. Well, it's kinda childish, but, Quiet down, everyone, and take your seats. Aizawa entered the classroom. All of the students clammed up and were in their seats in an instant. Midoriya was saved from the potential embarrassment for a little while longer. All of you had better be ready. What I'm about to tell you will impact the rest of your time here. You'll all be picking your class representatives. The overwhelming fear that quickly consumed the class was replaced by relief. Then they exploded into excitement. Many of the students raised their hands and their voices, saying that they should be the class rep. They only calmed down after Ida got their attention. He suggested that they vote for who they believed to be the best pick for the class rep. After the votes were tallied, Ida got the most votes while Yaoyorozu got the second most votes. The young man was surprised by the class wanting him to represent him. His classmates said that they admired his quick thinking and composure in the mock battles, and, well, even though the students had only known each other for a short while, Ida seemed to be one of the most qualified people to represent them. They had similar thoughts about Yaoyorozu as well. She was resourceful, clever, kind, and she's helpful in a pinch, with or without her quirk. She was able to win in her match in the mock battle trial as well, despite her teammate being distracted a majority of the time. Lunchtime eventually rolled around. At the suggestion of Uraraka and Midoriya, mainly Uraraka, all of the Class 1A girls planned to eat together so that they could talk and get to know each other better. They sat at a large table and began by introducing themselves before chatting about nothing particular. Midoriya really seemed to enjoy herself. Since she didn't have a quirk until recently, no one really wanted to hang out with her. Bakugo's bullying didn't help at all either. It was nice to just hang out with the other girls her age. Okay, girls, there's something super important we need to discuss. Everyone became quiet as they waited for their pink classmate to continue. How can there be so many cute boys in our class? I can't handle it! Something like this should be illegal! The freckled girl couldn't believe what Ashido just said. Was this something girls normally talk about? Granted, Izuku would sometimes catch her mom looking through the Heroes Weekly magazines, fawning and blushing over the pictures of the male heroes. But it seems so strange to do the same thing with people you know personally. I see your point, and many of them seem very capable with their quirks. Not all of them. Kaminari short-circuited his brain within the first half of the mock battles the other day. I had to drag him around for most of the training. I'm sure he'll get better with time. With all of us training together, it's bound to happen. Yeah, their quirks are cool and all, but I'm just talking about who is the most attractive. I mean, I think Todoroki's the best looking. No, Shoji! That mask he wears all the time makes him so mysterious. No, wait, Koda! The really quiet guy? Oh my god, he's so cute! I just want to wrap him up in a blanket and cuddle him! Ashido had a hard time making up her mind. She was like a kid in a fully stocked candy shop but was told that she could only pick one thing. You want to know who I think is the most attractive? Bakugo! Midoriya choked on her food when she heard that. Even though he seems so angry, I bet he has a soft spot. I mean, who knows? He might be secretly passionate about dogs or cooking or something like that. No, Kacchan doesn't have any soft spots. You should stay far, far away from him. Everyone looked at their frazzled friend with curiosity and concern. But why? Is he really that bad, Midoriya? He seems like any other bully. I mean, picking fights and bringing others down to boost his ego. I think he's just trying to be compassionate or something. Like his dumpster fire of a personality? I think that's beyond salvaging. No, that's not it. He and I were friends when we were kids, and, well, we grew up together, and I didn't develop my quirk at the same time as everyone else, so he called me a quirkless loser and other things like that, but in middle school, he found out that I wanted to go to UA, so he didn't think I deserved to go since I was quirkless. Then he said if I wanted to get a quirk, I should just pray to be born with one of my next life and take a swan dive off of the roof. A pair of tear geysers spilled from Midoriya's eyes. The other girls were stupefied. The explosive blonde actually said that to someone that wants to be a hero? I mean, Uraraka was the first one to hug Midoriya, followed by Ashido and Hagakure. All the girls ended up joining on a group hug, causing Midoriya to cry even harder. She hadn't told her mom what Bakugo had said to her that day, and it was such a relief to get that off her chest. However, a campus-wide alarm rang out, informing the students that the school had been broken into, and that they needed to evacuate calmly. The students began to evacuate alright, but it was anything but calm. Students were fearfully pushing and shoving into each other in a desperate attempt to escape the danger. A few of them were even pushed to the ground or even into the walls, practically become trampled by the stampede. Everyone! Calm down! There's no reason to be shoving! Yeah! The 1A rep got shoved into the large window as his calls fell on deaf ears. While trying to peel his face off the glass, he saw what had caused the alarm to go off. The militia of reporters from that morning had gotten past the barrier somehow. Ida could think about how that was possible later, but he had to get everyone's attention to inform them it was a false alarm. Someone was shoved into Ida just as he pried himself off the window. He and the unfortunate student were thrown to the floor, which was the most dangerous place to be at the moment. The thundering feet of the UA student was body crashing around him. Hey, Ida! Fancy seeing you here! Uraraka had landed back first onto the floor with Ida on top of her. Time seemed to freeze as the two students stared at each other, before Ida was kicked in the head by a fearful student. This is crazy! How could someone break into school grounds? It's the news anchors from this morning. I don't know how they got in, but we need to get everyone's attention to inform them. Uraraka, can you get me above the crowd? Uraraka nodded and used her quirk on Ida. The class rep took Uraraka and held her close. He couldn't just leave his classmates to lay on the floor. She could get trampled in the chaos. The Infinity Girl hugged onto Ida as the two floated above the horde of students. Dramatically, Ida threw off his glasses and pulled the cuffs off his pants as he engaged his own quirk. Hang on! Engines ignited, sending Ida and Uraraka through the hallway like an airborne Beyblade. The strange spectacle grabbed the attention of every student. The two crashed into the wall above the door, looking similar to the figure on an exit sign. Everyone, listen to me! It's just the media outside! There's no need to cause a panic! We're students of UA, and we should be more composed than this! Everyone seemed to relax upon hearing the news. Ida gave orders for everyone to continue the evacuation quickly and calmly. The news crews were escorted off of school grounds by the cops, and the students and teachers returned to their usual schedules. Ida received praise for his quick thinking on getting the situation under control. Hey! Way to go! Exit sign Ida! That's our leader! Alright, that's enough everyone. Settle down. It took a moment, but the students did return to their seats and gave their teacher their attention. Today we'll be doing disaster rescue training. We'll be going to an off-site facility and be joined by 2 other pro heroes. You should all get your costumes on and head out for the bus outside. The class headed for their separate locker rooms to change. Unfortunately for Midoriya, her costume wasn't finished being repaired, so she had to stick with her gym clothes. The girls were talking about what kind of hero they'd be working with today. Maybe they'd be training with someone like Kamui Woods or the pro hero Selkie. Or maybe it's a hero that they haven't heard much about. Some of them were just happy that the training wouldn't involve any fighting for a change. Hey, guys, I think there's a hole in the wall here. Really? Where? Where'd you find it? It's over here. The girls followed the floating t-shirt to a blank area of the wall. The hole was small, but only a couple of centimeters across, and there was some lighting coming from the other side. Wow, that's really weird. Hang on, isn't the boys' locker room on the other side of this wall? Jiro plugged her jack into the wall and began listening. Strange. Why would someone put a hole here? Are you serious, Yaoyorozu? This is the boys we're talking about here. Jiro walked up to the wall with a disgusted expression on her face. Ugh! Mineta and Kaminari are gonna try and use this to watch us undress. Those pervy little... Ugh! I don't know, Jiro. I don't think either of those two have the capabilities on Shawshanking a hole in the wall like this. Hold on. I'll make something quick to plug up the hole. Hold off on that. I want to teach this guy a lesson. After Jiro shanked the purple dwarf in the eye with her earphone jack, the hole was plugged up, and the girls finished suiting up without worry. Everyone was loaded onto the bus and made their way to the unforeseen simulation joint. When they arrived, they met with the space hero 13, who explained the purpose of the USJ, to help train future heroes in search and rescue in natural disaster scenarios. She also stressed the importance of how lethal quirks can be if they were used improperly or recklessly. After finishing her speech, 13 and Aizawa started to lead the students into the facility. However, a mass of black and purple clouds began to swirl and form in the center of the USJ. The pro heroes and students stopped as the dark mist grew. Several dozen figures began to walk out of the fog, marching with intent. A strange man covered in severed hands walked through the gate. The young man was then joined by a large beast with a bird-like face. Stay back! Those are real villains! 13, get the students out of here, now! Aizawa put on his signature goggles and readied his capture tool before jumping into the fray. Everyone, this way! Class 1A was following the space hero's lead, all except for Midoriya, as she was mesmerized by how easily Eraserhead was handling the army of criminals. It wasn't something she thought her homeroom teacher was capable of, given what she knew about his skill set. What are you doing, Midoriya? Come on! Zero took his green-haired classmate's hand. We gotta go! He began to run towards the exit and Midoriya kept up with his pace. What the heck? I can't get a message through to the school. They gotta be jamming the signals. That would make sense. The alarm should have gone off by now otherwise. However, their escape route was cut off by the dark fog from earlier. An equally dark voice and glowing yellow eyes cut through the mist and addressed the fleeing pros and students. We are the League of Villains. Apologies for letting ourselves in, but we were expecting to see All Might here. After all, isn't this a fitting place for the symbol of peace to make his last stand? Fear struck Midoriya, eyes becoming wide as her grip tightened around Sero's. Do they actually intend to kill All Might? Is that what the army of thugs and that Frankensteinian monster was here for? An explosive crash shook the area as Bakugo and Kirishima tried to attack the Shadow Man, but their efforts were in vain. The villain took no damage, but his dark laughter surrounded the young heroes in training, seemingly amused by the efforts. Ida, you're the fastest in the class! You need to get back to the campus and let the pros know what's going on! I can't just leave everyone! Dude, you're the only one who can do this! Exit sign? We'll do our best to hold out until you come back with help. The class rep was torn between his duties. To fight with his classmates against bona fide villains, or run away to get heroes with proper training. It was a tougher choice than what he'd like to admit. Black Hole! 13 began to use her quirk on the Shroud. It seemed to be effective for a little while, until her opponent opened a warp gate behind her. The 1A students watched in horror as their teacher was being torn apart by her own quirk. 13 deactivated her quirk as she passed out and collapsed. Some of the students moved to her side. It began to sink in how real and how deathly this was going to be. The scrapping sound of metal on metal tore through the air. The main doors, the only way out of the USJ, were closing. Ida's feet were moving before he knew it. He blitzed for the door. The Shadow Man was going to make a move to stop him, but he didn't expect any of the students to retaliate against him. Ida saw his classmates fighting to clear a path for him, but he couldn't stop now. He couldn't afford to. Everyone's efforts would be for naught if he wasn't running his hardest until he got back to UA. His heart was pounding in time with his footfalls as he watched his exit become narrower and narrower. The sunlight blinded Ida as he pushed his way through, his armor scraping against the closing doors. He kept up his momentum and didn't stop running. It doesn't matter. When he returns with All Might, he will be greeted by the sight of all of you, bloodied and broken. The torrent of dark clouds consumed the students. The roaring wind blended with the Shadow Man's voice. Now to scatter you across this place, and to your early demise. Midoriya and Shiro tried to keep their grip on each other, but they were pulled off the ground and separated, thrown about like leaves in a twister. The green-haired girl screamed as she fell, not fully sure which way was up or down. She was only able to orient herself when she splashed into a body of water, which she deduced to probably be the flood zone. Midoriya took in her surroundings quickly and found that she was not alone. Several goons with water-based quirks had her cornered on all sides. It didn't seem like the young hero to be had any hope to escape. Midoriya, hang on! Sue swam at her classmate with unbelievable speed. She already had Mineta under her arm as she used her tongue to grab Midoriya. The amphibian girl took her classmates toward the outline of a boat as she... The amphibian girl took her classmate towards the outline of a boat that she could see. The trio broke the surface, the less aquatic of them taking a gasping breath. Sue tossed Midoriya to the edge of the boat. Thank you, Sue. No problem. The freckled team was watching the swarm of villains surrounding their sanctuary. She was trying to assess the situation and come up with some sort of strategy. Then she felt a pair of hands on her waist. Midoriya froze and turned to see Mineta's purry expression. She pushed him away with more force than she intended, causing the small boy to collide onto the cabin's outer wall hard. Don't touch me like that! There are villains everywhere! We need to think of a plan to take these guys down! Take them down? What? And how do you think you can survive this? These guys want to kill All Might and he's practically invincible! This is just hopeless! Sue backhanded Mineta. He shut his trap quickly. If you're not going to say anything helpful, keep it to yourself. The two green-haired girls started listing out their current stand-in. It was just the three of them against anywhere between 25 to 40 villains. But there could be more under the waves. Things weren't looking good, and who knew how long it would take for them to get better. Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would like to let you know that We the Celestials has many other channels for your entertainment and viewing purposes. All the information you'll need is right below here in the description, so feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I would like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. That's all for today's video. So goodbye and have a divine day.